Yo, what's good? It's Guapee back with another SoaR Apex video, and today I'm going to be going over the basics of movement tech within Apex to help you start your journey as a movement player, and hopefully it will tie into a part 2 video where we go over some more advanced techs in the future. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so for the first piece of basic movement you should be learning in Apex, it is obviously the slide jump. Use it to get around the map as fast as possible. Pretty much every like 3 seconds you just want to slide jump. It's going to make moving around the map way faster. Obviously you can use it in fights as well to avoid damage and just move around quicker. Everyone should be doing this as much as possible. Don't spam it because you'll just get dead slides. So yeah, like once every 3 seconds basically I'd recommend doing this, and it's going to help you move around the map very quick. Okay, so for the next tech, I believe it's got a few names: super slide, edge sliding, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty basic stuff as well, but you'll see that most players who don't super glide very much and haven't got that tech as a part of their playstyle, which is completely fine. This is the alternative that you do. So you'll see a lot of people like, I think Fade uses this, and what you're doing, instead of just going up to a ledge and super gliding, which is obviously quite advanced, instead you're just climbing, moving for a second, sliding at the top of the ledge. The way you do this, like, as soon as you get the top, if you press it too early like that, you'll just crouch. You want to move forward for a split second and then hit the slide. It's a good alternative, and it actually has some advantages over super gliding, because the amount of momentum and forward height you get when you're gliding, if there is an obstacle in your way that's a bit too high up, you're probably better off just sliding like this, as you'll be able to go under it. So every player can use this and should use it when it's necessary. I think super gliding is overall way better, and it does have its uses even though it's not very advanced. Okay, so for the next tech, we're going to be going over the first zipline tech that you should probably be learning, and some people do actually struggle to learn this. It's just a super jump, and the super jumping is just grabbing the zipline and jumping straight away. So you just run up to it, hold in, interact, and then jump as soon as you get the prompt of the interaction. You can combine this with tap strafing, which we'll be going over later. Tap strafing is something that combines with pretty much every single one of these movement techs, but extremely useful on super jumping. You should be using this in buildings all the time. Let's say you're going up a zipline within a building, you want to get to the 3rd floor really quickly. Hold interact, jump, turn around, and then because you're holding interact, it's going to make you grab it again like that, and you're going to be enough height to get to the 3rd floor. Hold down interact, there's no point in letting it go unless you need to specifically, and that's how you super jump. Okay, so finally getting to the more exciting stuff now. We're going to be moving on to wall bounces, which this will be the basic wall bounce, which you'll be familiar with. So not fatigue, just regular wall bounce where you're sliding, running up and hopping off of the wall. This is obviously, it's an ancient movement tech. It was one of the first big movement techs, and it's still useful till this day. It has a bunch of variations, but the basic is just you run up, slide jump for as much momentum as possible if you really want to, and you turn to the wall. Let go of your movement keys because you've got the momentum off of the slide. So slide, jump up, and then you turn to the wall. As I turn to the wall, I let go of my keys and I press jump, and I just scroll wheel this every time, so I think it's easier. And of course you can combine this with tap strafing and redirect it, which we'll go over in a minute, but that's the basic wall jump. Everyone should learn this no matter the input. It's incredibly useful when you use it correctly. If you're spamming this, you're going to get one clipped out of it, or if you do it in a spot that's really predictable. For instance, if somebody is looking here and they see you just walking up ready to wall bounce, that is extremely easy to predict. If you're using this, I'd say learn tap strafing as well, which we'll go over shortly as I said, and you can start combining it to get over walls faster and whatnot. And yeah, that is the basic wall bounce. Okay, so now it's for one of my favorite movement techs. You'll see me use this a lot, and that is b-hopping, which has quite advanced tech available to it. But for the basic b-hop, I'm going to go to my keybinds real quick. I bind scroll wheel down to jump as well as my spacebar. You can do this with spacebar if you want. You're holding down slide or your crouch as you're sliding. You're basically just going to keep pressing jump in the rhythm of this, and you keep holding slide down, and I'm just scrolling. B-hopping is extremely easy. You literally just scroll repeatedly. The next tech we're going to go over is tap strafing, and you'll be able to see what I do when I combine tap strafing with b-hopping. I'm not going to go over it in the most advanced way possible because tap strafing kind of is the gateway to more advanced tech, but what you can use this for is obviously just moving around the map more efficiently, carrying on the speed of a slide. It is useful for that. However, you can also use this within fights, and this is going to get a little more advanced, is that when you're combining it with a gun, you can keep b-hopping towards people like this. More advanced stuff goes into, you can just redirect like this to make yourself way harder to hit, even when ADS to un-ADS. You will lose momentum if you don't do this within perfect timing, but quick tip, if you're playing Octane and you really want to swerve on someone, use stim and b-hop you'll be moving so fast and you can just one clip and go around them, the odds are they're going to struggle to track you, even if you're just going in one direction, because it'll probably be within either outside of their range of motion on MNK or outside of their low sense on roller. It's a very useful tech. Okay, so we're finally getting on to tap strafing. Tap strafing can be used in a number of the techs. I already mentioned pretty much every single one of them, and it is your basic like 180 or as much of an angle as you can manage. This is available on controller on PC. If you bind a Steam config to do it, you do a one single bind tap strafe, which should be legal. And then for mouse and keyboard, what you are doing is you're binding on your second bind, scroll upwards to W, which is your move forward. The way you do this, if you execute a slide jump, this is an easiest way to learn this. You execute a slide jump. Practice first is just turning, doing a 180 back to where you want to go, or maybe you want to go 90 degrees. And what you're doing is you're going to scroll up as you do this, as you enter that. And even without using a directional key, it's going to tap strafe you. Like, I'm not moving any directional key when I'm doing this. You're basically pressing your directional key of the way that you want to turn and move whilst scrolling. I would suggest adjusting your finger position on your scroll wheel to get the most out of the scroll. So if you're not scrolling that much during the motion, then you're probably not going to get as sharp of a tap strafe as you need. You can also apply this to a super jump. So as I exit the super jump, I'm simply turning to the left and holding A and then scrolling up. Or I can do it the other way and hold D. Go over to the wall bounce. You already saw me do this earlier, but you can just redirect it the direction you came from or whatnot. You can even do it over the wall, get up higher and whatnot. And then finally we have bunny hopping, which you already saw me tap strafing in. This is basically redirecting or air strafing, but I've got scroll wheel being used here, so each time I'm changing direction, what I'm doing, if I'm strafing to the left and then right, left, right, I'm just doing exactly what I've been doing on the left, right tap strafe. So I'm basically just spamming A, scroll up, D, scroll up. So I'm basically scrolling up and down to continue the B hop and the strafe at the same time. And yeah, that's how you integrate tap strafing into the basic movement techs. And now we're on to the last movement tech, which I can go over now, which is air strafing, or kind of, it's a few techs: air strafing, strafe lurching, redirecting, whatever you would like to call it. This stuff I'm going to go over briefly because this is what I would consider quite advanced tech that would be in a part 2 of this video, which, by the way, like and comment, subscribe if you want to see a part 2 of this where we go over the more advanced stuff. It's basically, instead of just strafing, you know, up and down, left, right, you can change mid-air. That's why it's called air strafing, I guess. So you can do circular motions like this, or you can just do a complete change of direction like that mid-air. In order to do the circle strafe like that mid-air, I am pretty much just moving my keys in a circular motion. So instead of just going, you know, A or D, I'm going A, W, D, and then I'm scrolling as I'm moving or where I'm looking. And then for strafe, lurching, or redirecting, this is a really old tech, by the way. Redirecting, you've probably heard this many times. People have been doing this for a long time, even before tap strafing was a thing, where instead of tap strafing they would just press like backwards and then a directional key to turn a corner, sort of like this. It's not as good, but you can combine it with a tap strafe when you're strafing. So I'll be moving to the left here, and then if I want to strafe lurch to the right mid-air, I'm simply jumping and I'm pressing either W and D or S and D at the same time. It's up to you whether you want to go forward or backwards. And then I'm slightly looking to the right and I'm scrolling up as soon as I press those keys. Doing this on someone like Octane or any legend with a speed boost it's hilarious, the difference. If you're in a speed boost, people will really struggle to hit you when you're doing this, even more so than the circular strafes. So that's been it for the basics of movement. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it useful. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see a part 2 to this, where some of the more advanced techs are gone over, such as super gliding, for example, fatigue, wall bouncing, mantle jumping, mantle crouching. There's quite a few techs that need going over in an advanced part 2, so let us know if you want to see that, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Till next time, peace.